It's that initial phase of who is this guy and how can he possibly help me? Hey guys, I just got off a call with Bill and we were talking about next steps for him as far as creating more content and, a lead magnet, something to be able to deliver some value to his network so that he has a reason to follow up on LinkedIn. Especially heading into the new year here, we want something of value so that he can stay in touch and get some conversations going. So after we got done the call, I asked Bill, I said, hey, do you mind if I just record this video so I could share it with all of you so that you know kind of where he's at? And I think you might be able to find some inspiration about what you might need to be doing as a next step as well. So let me give you some context here. So this checklist right here is something that we had our internal designer take care of. We got a virtual assistant who does all this stuff. It's really quite simple for him. Might be difficult for you, but it's easy for our guy to do this. So we're happy to help you with this as well. But Bill, I had him put together this sales checklist. So when we were talking about, what would be of value to your network, a checklist, a daily checklist, an accountability checklist, something that, if he was to deliver this to prospects, that they could print it off, they can stick it on the wall, they can use it as their guide on a daily basis of what do they do, right? Start your day with 20 minutes of exercise, visualize how you want your day to go, review your daily goals before you start your day, review your calendar, check your scheduled tasks. It's very methodical, but it's nice to have something to follow. So this will be a really valuable piece for anybody that's maybe struggling with their sales, especially again heading into the new year. They're looking for new resolutions, they want to start new habits, that type of thing. So this started out, if I just go back here, you can see the iterations that this has gone through, and this was the original version that Bill put together, which is basically just like dump it on a PowerPoint and use it as a guide to be able to build the final design. And that's not going to load for me here, obviously, but you can kind of see the preview of it. And then we went through a few iterations. We had a dark background and we're like, that's not really great. And this isn't letter size, so it'll be hard to print out. So we changed that. And, we did an update here, and now we've changed it again to put his logo on it. Now we've got another thing to put on it that would drive traffic to his sales or his appointment campaign, right? So this is Bill's appointment campaign right here, where you can see really simple design, outcome-based statement at the top, 3 bullets that talk about like what is Bill going to discuss with them if they're interested in talking to him, and then an easy way to actually book that call and a handful of testimonials. And of course, the video. The video is a key component to this so that they can get to know who Bill is and why they should trust him, right? It's that initial phase of who is this guy and how can he possibly help me? So hopefully that little bit of context helps you all out. And excuse my tabs on here. I know somebody's going to make fun of me for having too many tabs on here, Danielle. But anyways, so then we were talking about, okay, so what's next step? So right now, Bill's in the progress of following up with his network and, driving them directly to that page. He's doing a direct call to action saying, hey, do you need some help in 2020? I'm here for you. Let's book a call. The response rate on that is going to be low, of course, right? Because it's a very direct call to action. Some people don't really know who he is yet, but we thought, hey, why not? Try and get some calls on the calendar, do some sales calls. This is what Bill does. So that's why we did that. But the other piece is what else can you follow up with and how else can you be creating content? So that checklist that I just showed you, we also need a landing page for it, right? So what I did was I actually cloned a copy of our own. Let me just show you inside the members area here. So we have inside of module 8, we have a number of different funnel types, right? So different campaigns. One of them is for downloads like guides, reports, checklists, infographics. If I go over into the menu here, I'll show you in module 8, we've also got one for watch, which is, say you want to deliver a series of videos, or you want to do a challenge, or you want to create a mini webinar like we have set up, a case study video. Maybe you've written a book, or you have something that's like an ebook and you want to be able to give that away for free. Free plus shipping offer, or you're doing a launch. That's another thing that you might do. Engage, webinars, workshops, summits, experience, live events, roundtables. There's lots of different types of campaigns you can create. The simplest one, of course, is the download version, where you just create some type of an asset. People can download it, they can print it off, they can use it as a resource. So that's why we went with that one. And then if we look in this module, you'll see there's a video that actually supports this, but there's also this worksheet or this work doc in here as well, which in the work doc contains a table of contents where you can jump and look at the different types of pages that we have available as templates, both opt-in and thank you pages. And then if you scroll a little further, there's the campaign video, or sorry, right here, the ClickFunnels share funnel. So when I logged into Bill's account, which you can see here, and then I clicked on this link here, what happened was it asked me, do you want to add this to that person's account? And I say yes, and then it adds all the templates in there. So when I open this one up, you'll see there's 6 steps inside of there. You don't have to worry about the steps in it. There's actually only 4. ClickFunnels sometimes doesn't keep up with this. We deleted a couple out of here. But anyways, here's these examples right here. So one is an example where it's a really simple landing page all above the fold, and it has the image of the thing that you want them to download on the left hand side. So obviously we need to get this designed as well from our designer. Simple 3D image type things. Because Bill's checklist is one document, we're going to make it small enough that people can't really read it and make them want to go and opt in and get it. And then of course we have a statement of like, download the sales checklist, and then a benefit statement, why would you get this and who's it for and all that kind of stuff. And obviously this still needs to be built out. This is a template for now. And then an opt-in form, right? And then a click the button to go ahead and download. Now in this case, Bill's going to need an email automation tool. So I recommended ActiveCampaign to him, and the reason why I recommended that is because price-wise, it's very reasonable. It's like $15 a month. It includes the automation at that price point, and the automation basically looks like this. Somebody goes to this page right here, they opt in, now they're in a list. The last thing you want to do is let that list just sit there and never communicate with them. So you can create new email content to publish as like a broadcast, or you can create an automation sequence. So what does that look like? Well, I was talking to Bill about this, and actually, let me just pull up his LinkedIn profile right now. One of the best ways to create content is to recycle the content that you already have. And if I go to Bill's profile here, you'll see that he has been putting videos out for quite some time around all kinds of different topics. So if I go into Bill's profile and I scroll down to see all activity, and then I go to posts, I can tell what Bill's actually posted, right? So here's one talking about, we're entering a new decade. Are you ready? Invest in yourself and the people around you. Now, that's not an evergreen piece, so you can't really reuse it for an automation sequence because it's specific to the date. But that's just one example. Blue collar sales manager gets a thank you. That possibly could be a piece that you could put into an automation sequence. So, and when I say that, what I mean is that you can actually grab a direct link to this post right here. And if I just open this up in a new tab, you'll see this will go directly to that post. And what else is on here, and this is one of the most amazing parts about linking your email content to your LinkedIn posts, is that the video sits on LinkedIn, the description sits on LinkedIn, all the tags, and Bill's profile is linked up here. So if they want to learn more, they can simply click through. They can read his profile, they can check out his headline, they can look at his background photo, his about section, his articles, his experience, his testimonials, all that kind of stuff. It's essentially a free landing page, a sales page, right? That's why I really encourage people that if you're going to do email marketing, drive some traffic to your LinkedIn posts. You've already created the content, just repurpose it. So Bill's homework is going to be, and this is for Bill as well, but for all of you, is Bill, set up a spreadsheet and start documenting all of these. Document the topic, the title, the description you put in there, the tags you used, the direct link, which you can see again, you can go here to grab the direct links, put them all in a spreadsheet. That way, when you set up a tool like ActiveCampaign and you set up the automation sequences where it's like this, right? In this case, it wouldn't be like this, but it would be contact opts in. Wait for 1 hour, send the welcome message, wait for 3 days, send the follow-up message, wait for 3 days, send another message. Those messages can be these videos. That's about as simple as it gets to create content, to repurpose your content to be able to follow up through an automation sequence. And it creates another touch point. Of course, we're continuing to grow Bill's network. We're continuing to follow up with Bill's network that he's connected with. But email is just another means to be able to communicate. And of course, we all know that email is still the primary communication tool that people use in business, right? So why not build an email list in addition to building a LinkedIn network, which essentially is a list as well, but it's just an extra touch point. So I really encourage everybody to do that. Now, this is where my tabs are getting out of control, but let me go back through this. So the second piece that Bill needed, though, was a thank you page. The thank you page, you'll see it's really simple. This is a template version of this, but all it does is it indicates, let me just pause this video. Let me do that again. There we go. Okay, so the top part says check your inbox for the thing that you requested. So Bill need to update this to say sales checklist. The reason we do that is because you want their attention on the video. You don't want them downloading the thing right there. You want them going to their email inbox, looking for it, making sure that they whitelist you, because as soon as they open your email, now they're somewhat whitelisted, right? There's a few things that they may have to do to actually drag it into a certain inbox, but don't worry about that too much. You could give those kind of instructions on the video. And in fact, this video, for any of you that are watching this, just follow the script that I use, which is basically, hey, thanks so much for downloading that or requesting to download my sales checklist. Go check your email, look in your spam and promotions folder. It may have ended up in there. Make sure to whitelist my email while you're there too. That way you know that you can get all my emails going forward. I'll only share valuable content with you. And while I have your attention, if you are, and then you go into your pitch, right? If you are the owner of a company where you have a sales team that's dispersed around the United States and you're having trouble helping them consistently meet their sales goals, and you feel a little bit handcuffed by the fact that they have the relationships with their clients, and you want to make sure that you have a little more control heading into the new year. I guess you wouldn't say that because you don't want it to be time specific, but you need a little more control in an exposure to your sales pipeline and the results that your salespeople are getting, then I want to help you. Hi, I'm Bill Snow. What I do, I have a company called Sales Progression. I work with owners just like you to be able to help their sales teams be more efficient, be more accountable, and to help grow your bottom line revenue. And that's it, right? So I guess the other side of it is if you want to have a discussion on this, you can use the form down below. Now, this one here is just showing a button. So you could just link out, or Bill could just link out to his landing page, which is this one here, the Sales Progression llc.co/call. So that button could just link out to here. That's probably the easiest way to do it. The other thing that you could do though is, let me just jump back. There we go. Is that you can embed the calendar booking right here on this thank you page. And you can include all your testimonials. You basically clone what Bill had on this page onto the thank you page, right? Either way works. I don't think there's one way that's better than the other. A lot of times it's better to say don't make them click to another place, but sometimes it's easier to just put a button there and make them click over. Either way will work for now. So that's the context of what Bill's going to be doing. And then, of course, once we have these two assets created, his opt-in page and his thank you page, we can now start feeding that to his network in a very value-add focused way, right? Hey, we've been connected on LinkedIn for some time. I just want to let you know, I just created this sales checklist. It's a simple to-do list that you can easily print off, stick on the wall. It'll help keep you accountable. It'll help you meet your sales goals. If you're a leader or the owner of a company, forward it off to your sales team. If you are a salesperson, download this thing, print it off. It's going to help you. And if you need any help, reach out to me, right? That's basically it. Now, the other couple variations that we have here too is that, I've got another variation of a landing page here. I'll just show you. And this one is just a little more detailed, right? And it includes the option to be able to put your photo on there just to create that connection as well. You don't have to have it like this. This is just an example. You can put a little more text on here, little personal story, testimonials, and about Bill type thing. Download the guide now. It would do the exact same thing. It would pop back up here. All this functionality is built into a tool like ClickFunnels. And then lastly, the other option too is to do this with no opt-in. Now, the reason why you might do this, and I'll show you this one, is because to get somebody to opt in is obviously another level of commitment, right? So you want to try and make it as least resistant to be able to get your content in front of people. So the pro is that it's easy to get this in their hands. The downside is you don't capture the lead. You can't follow up with emails. Pros and cons. You might want to split test this, right? But the other thing, and this is going into a more advanced topic, is that you can pixel anybody that lands on this page. So there's tools out there and there's platforms, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these tools have pixels where if somebody lands on this page, you can actually track that they've been there. And then you can retarget them with ads. So what I like to say is that consider that blender that you were looking at on Amazon, right? You go, you look for it, you're researching, you find a couple, and then you're like, oh, I'm busy, you got to run out the door. You close down the windows, you forget about it. Now that blender follows you around the web, right? Every website you go to, when you go and check the football scores, you see that ad on the side talking about that thing. And I know we've all seen this because a lot of big companies do it, right? So if you're looking at insurance, you're going to see insurance ads following you all over the place. Why wouldn't you do the same thing as a service provider like Bill, a VP of sales that can come in and fix your sales problem? You want those people seeing you all the time. You want them thinking of you when they have that problem and they go, who can solve this for me? So that's for another topic, another video, but that's the context of what Bill's doing right now. The other things really quickly that we talked about is just content strategy. So there's a handful of resources available to all of you as well inside of the program. Some of the best things I can share with you are these here. So in module 6 under 6.2.0, you're going to find a video and a document called the message mapping, mapping out your message. So there's a training video and a work doc for that. It basically addresses pain points, illustrations of how that shows up in your prospect's life, and then the solution, and then a call to action, right? So it's a good map to be able to create content. The other thing I would say is just document out your process. How does it work? When you work with a client and you onboard them and you do your first handful of meetings and you set up the tools and you set up all the ways that you're going to support them, how does it work? Break down every step, create a piece of content around it, right? The other amazing way to create content is just like I'm doing right now. If you work with clients and you know that they're struggling in certain areas, and you know that if they're struggling, that other people are as well, create a piece of content. You can see here, this isn't a really fancy edited video. I'm going to blur a few things out just for confidentiality reasons and whatnot. And you can see I've got a million tabs open on my screen here. Could I prepare more for this? Of course. But you know what? Done is better than perfect. Let me just create, add value, knowing that I'm sure you watching this appreciates the fact that I'm just getting it to you. It doesn't need to be polished. It just needs to be done. So do that. Think that way. That's how your content strategy comes together. Think about your follow-ups on LinkedIn. Build the list. Do follow-ups using other mediums, other ways to be able to drive traffic, and create assets that are really valuable to people. Rinse and repeat. Do this every single month for a whole year. I think you're going to find that it's going to create consistency in your inbound opportunities where people may be in your network for upwards of a year and never actually reach out to you. But just because they don't respond to you and just because you got 10 likes on a video does not mean that people are not listening. I'll give you one more example here of my own content. These ones right here. So here's my activity, and we've really been proactively publishing content on LinkedIn recently, but I'll just show you one of these here that has recently, let me just find it. right here. So I published this video. It's just a chopped up version of a live Q&A that I did. It's got a summary of what the video is about. It's talking about why I believe you should charge for your proposals, even if nobody in your industry is doing so. And I give all the reasons why. Somebody in my network saw this. They reached out to me and they said, hey, I want to book a call. I've just started a new role as the VP sales. I want to get our lead gen dialed in. And I think you can help me. You've been in my network for 2 years. We got on that call. He told me he saw this video. That was what sparked him to reach out to me. 2 years later, this stuff works. And you're not going to always get validation. Look at, yeah, there's 666 views on this video. There's only 11 likes, 2 comments. These views came because I emailed my list to this post. So I don't even know if that person saw this in the feed or if they saw it because I emailed my list to the post. But I think you can kind of see how this whole thing works, how the loop can be created by you. It doesn't all have to be organic, and fingers crossed, I hope this works. All right, so that's it. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. All right, have a good one. See ya.